Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Freedom Rides, and we have a participant in the Freedom Rides that occurred in May of 1961, Mr. Rip Patton. And of course, Mr. Patton, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
And thank you. It's good to be here.
And to tell you how delighted we are to have you here, Mr. Patton, and to talk about one of the events in American history that very, very few people are aware of, and to know that you actually participated in these so-called Freedom Rides during that period in 1961. And we want to talk about that and to give our audience some impressions in terms of some of your experiences there. But before we do that, Mr. Patton, let's have you to talk about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in your life that eventually led you to where we are today.
Okay, well, I'm a Nashvilleian, born here in Nashville, Tennessee. I attended the public school here, head school, Old Head, then over to Fort Greene, Pearl Elementary, and then into Washington Junior High, Pearl, and on to Tennessee State. And I was a music education major and played, I'm a, what you call an aristocrat.
A member of the aristocrat band.
Aristocrat band, the percussion section, under the tutelage of Frank T. Greer.
Good.
And they don't make them like that anymore.
I know, good.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Mr. Greer.
Yes. From there, of course, in the 60s, late 50s, we started with the sit-ins. And I was a participant in the sit-ins. I was one of the few that did not get arrested in the sit-ins. I attended all the workshops and basically was a runner in the sit-ins. When they would fill up the counters and they'd take them to jail, then I was one of those persons that would go back to the church or and let them know that we needed more people to sit in. And participated in that and all the way up to the Freedom Ride. And I got involved in the Freedom Ride because I think the whole Nashville group got involved because one of our own was a part of that, the original Freedom Ride, which was John Lewis. He started in Washington, D.C. with the original Freedom Ride. And he stayed on that Freedom Ride until it reached Atlanta, Georgia. And after that, he got off because he was had taken some classes to go to the Foreign Service. And that's how he missed that Anderson or Birmingham, I don't know exactly which bus he was on, but we were monitoring the Freedom Ride from the beginning, from Washington, D.C., which started on May 6th. And so John came back to Nashville. And as you know, the burning of the bus and the incident in Birmingham, that happened on Mother's Day, May 14th. And I guess John decided not to go to the Foreign Service. He had passed all the tests, had his airline tickets and everything. And he was a part of the first group to leave Nashville. Now, you might ask, why would you take part in the Freedom Ride when the person, Jim Farmer, who was one who set up the Freedom Ride, who put this whole thing together, advised the Nashville group not to continue because of the burning of the bus in Anniston and the incident that happened in Birmingham where they picked up one of the riders and just threw him to the back of the bus, and he is paralyzed today. And Diane Nash talked to Jim Farmer. When they left Anniston and Birmingham, they went to New Orleans. And she talked to him, and he advised her not to send anybody else on the Freedom Ride. It was just too dangerous.
Before we get into that, this concept of the Freedom Ride itself, who came up with that idea, and what really prompted a belief that you could do that?
Well,
I mean, you say the original Freedom Riders. I mean, who were these individuals? Did they come up with the original idea of doing
James Farmer. He was the director of CORE, C-O-R-E, Congress of Racial Equality. And he came, I think he was the one that came up with that idea.
And so the idea...
He put a team together, I think it was 6 blacks, 6 whites, and they were testing the facilities in the Greyhound and Trailway bus terminal. according to the federal law, you should be able to use the facilities, but they were testing the law to make sure that that's the way it was, that you could actually use these facilities.
And there was quite a bit of opposition at all of it throughout in reference to this.
Well, the opposition came, I think, as we know, in Anniston and Birmingham.
Okay, and I tell you what we'll do, Mr. Patton, we're getting ready for our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll give you an opportunity to take that second segment and to simply develop this idea about those individuals who participated, including yourself. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Hi. The guest is Mr.